D7 from D13 Airsoft, and today I'm going to do a review on the Valhalla Airsoft VMAX Anti-Fog systems. This was created by one Jeff Simpson, who started to first sell these as prototypes at Oakley Thunderdome, a Oakley Lion Claws game that happened here in North Carolina very recently. So I was able to use that game as a test to kind of see how this product worked, as along with two other players I'm quite familiar with who also gave me some feedback for this review, and then I know at least 6 others who used it during that game in general. So some of their feedback will be integrated into this review. Now with that said, I need to start with a caveat. So originally I made a whole review, I already made of this, just in isolation without talking to others, and said, hey, I really like the product, but there are a couple of flaws with it. So I contacted Mr. Simpson and said, hey, can you look into this, just to see if maybe the product can be made better in time. I know it was a prototype. And he said, well, hang on, I think the issue was the frame gasket that I purchased for this eye protection was for the wrong type of Eyepro. So when I purchased this, he said, well, hang on, let me ship you the right gasket frame, and I will ship it to you for free. So what that means is one gasket I paid for and the other I did not. So keep that in mind when we're doing this review. Now first off, Eyepro itself. So before I even got this frame system, what I had was the Oakley 3.0 frame series of eye protection. I had this for about 1.5 years, and it comes with a rubber sealant piece that allows us to become full seal and legal for any airsoft field. It was great because I could just take that seal off when I was going to the shooting range and pop it on when I was going to the airsoft field. In addition, what I would usually do is have an Exfog on the back of my helmet, and I'll run the tubes through the helmet on top down into the eye protection. It did work, though it was quite janky at times, because the frame, I would have to stick the Exfog hoses through the rubber sealant frame in here in a very inconsistent manner. In addition, if something like a tree branch or maybe me turning my head would yank that hose out, then I would have to spend a good amount of time trying to readjust the Exfog in my eye protection to get it where I wanted it, where it wasn't blocking my vision, where it wasn't breaking the full seal of that rubber frame, etc. So did it work? Yeah, it did work, but it was a little clumsy, right? And over that 1.5 years, I got used to it, but when I first saw this product, I said, hey, that kind of solves a lot of that clumsiness, right? So what this product is this actual 3D printed frame. Sometimes called a gasket, sometimes called a frame, and they make it in 2 models. This one is for the ESS style eye protection, and the one attached is for the Oakley 3.0 frame, both of which are very popular eye protections for airsoft. So you pop it in, you replace that other rubber frame that comes with it, the rubber frame, place it, pop it in, fits quite neatly. I should also say with it being 3D printed, I kind of expect it to be stiffer, but it's more of a rubber material, so you can see how flexible it is. Fit in quite well. And then what this gives you are 2 holes right here for your Exfog to go into, and allows it to be inserted consistently and allows air to blow evenly inside the Eyepro through these 2 slots right here that are hollowed out in a 90-degree angle. So why I like that is it's more consistent, right? Instead of me fidgeting around trying to find a place for those Exfog hoses, I can now just put in these holes each time. If they ever fall out, I know to put them right back in, and it's quite easy to do with one hand while still wearing the eye protection and headgear. So I was very happy about that. And during my time doing that one game at Oakley Thunderdome, it worked very well. Okay, so with that said, what are certain flaws I found with this system so far? Well, it certainly solved a lot of the flaws I had originally, but it did cause some new ones, right? And what I got from the feedback from 2 others was all 3 of us had the same issue, which is at the bottom part here, close to where these inserts clip onto the eye protection, kind of rubs against your cheek in a very rough way. Now, it didn't leave too much of a mark, it didn't cause any blood to be drawn, and it wasn't that uncomfortable, but it was a bit noticeable, and it was something that wasn't there when you wear the eye protection without it. Is that something they can improve on design in the future? Maybe, but even if they didn't, I'm willing to look past it given what the results that this can produce. Another issue I saw a lot of people say, and I'll try to get some good close-up shots of this, was the quality of the 3D print. So if you can see here, you can see some rough edges around it. They kind of quickly sanded it down for mass production. You can see some of the lines where they build the layers of the 3D printer building the product. For me, if this was a hardened plastic or a metal, I could agree with that criticism. But for me, you know, I don't know enough about 3D printing, but with this being a rubber material, I'm willing to look past it. In addition, I don't think that makes it less fragile or more fragile or anything like that. I mean, it's still quite durable, it's quite flexible, it still gets the job done. Another flaw is when you put the Exfog hoses in, it's not the tightest. It's not going to just fall out on its own, but if you have your Exfog attached to, say, like a baseball cap instead of a helmet, and it's able to move independently from your head a little bit more, there might be a chance your Exfog hose can pop out. But if that's the case, it's very easy to reinsert it because of how consistent it is. So again, something to take into account. And then the last flaw is probably the biggest issue, which was something that caused me to reach out to Mr. Simpson's and then redo this review, which was there is a large gap that occurs when I wear this that between my nose and then a gap that leads up to my eye, to where when I'm wearing this, and I'll try to get some pictures for you, it causes a gap that breaks to full seal that could, in theory, allow a BB to get to my eye. Now that's a big no-go, and I was able to mitigate it with some duct tape. You're going to see a picture of that. And when I got to Mr. Simpson's, he was like, hey, you know, you have the wrong frame on the wrong Eyepro, let me get you a right one, that should fix that. And it did fix it a little bit, but the pictures you're seeing right now, those are with the right frame setup, with the right eye protection. So it's still there a little bit, though I will give it this caveat. Of the others I've talked to about this product, they are not having that issue. So if it's just me, it's just me. Maybe my head just doesn't conform with the eye protection frame like others do. I mean, everyone's a little bit different. So if that's the case, I'm willing to look past it so long as the duct tape trick works for field rules. If so, I'm fine with that because it's still technically full seal if I use that duct tape. But I mean, for someone buying a product, they may not be willing to like that, you know? Next thing is price. So the eye protection itself, the Oakley Frame series, you can probably get around $150. Then the Exfog system is between $80 to $100 itself, and then the frame itself is being advertised for $45. Now, putting that all together, depending on what setup you're getting, you could be looking at between $275 to $295 for the Exfog, the eye protection, and the frame. Is that expensive? I would say yeah, but what does it do? Like, what other Eyepro can you get for that price or less that mitigates fogging issues while still being full seal, with a caveat for me, you know, within that price range? And I personally haven't experienced one yet. And I would say, you know, hey, fogging is a big issue in airsoft. If you can't see, you can't play very well. And I was willing to say, yeah, I'm willing to cough over the cash to make that happen. So in conclusion, you know, is it worth it? Should you get it? Well, with Exfog and Eyepro, yeah. As for this frame, I would say yes, with a caveat. Are you comfortable running the risk of it not working with your head? You know, maybe you can try it on before you purchase it. If I'm the only one that's having this issue, then I would say, yeah, I recommend it because I'm willing to, you know, mitigate around that and work with it. Because what this results in is, outside of that, probably the best Eyepro system at mitigating fogging. But what if this is a more consistent issue with others? If so, then that's a pretty big flaw in the design, right? So I guess I'll leave it there and say, you know, kind of the big answer to that what if will determine if I would recommend this or not. With that said, thank you guys for watching, and please just add on if you have experience with this, tell me what you think. All right, thanks guys, bye.